the morning as much as possible. I had a good time, and I hope you did have a good time as well. Remember, these conversations are not just so that we can drag the government or drag anybody. The necessity for this conversation is just to let the public know and let the government and all the bodies responsible for creating policies, implementing these policies, to know how they affect the citizens and how they affect the masses in this chain. So thank you so much for being there. Now on to the next hour. This is where we get to talk about agricultural activities. It is called Agropreneur, and this is the latest addition to the Midday Extra show. Remember, we talked about bringing people from diverse fields in the agricultural sector, captains of industry, and everyone who literally is involved in the business of agriculture, because we said, like, in the 1960s and 1970s, where the mainstay of Nigeria used to be agriculture, we have found some level of decline and redundancy in this sector because we have certain misconceptions. Agriculture is for the poor. But with the guest I have seated right here in the studio, your opinion might be different, because boy, he is fresh and he's an agriculturist. He's not a farmer. He's a dairy farmer, right? But your opinion might change because he's not that idea of a farmer that you would have on a normal day. And this is why we talked about branding in the agricultural sector. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Aminu Nyako. Am I getting that right? Aminu Nyako in the studio with me. Hello, Aminu.
Pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much.
This is not how you were talking before we came on air.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it's good to have you join us here in the studio. Thank you for being here with us. Now, Aminu Nyako Murtala is the managing director of Sabore International Farms Limited, and he is an economist and a public policy expert with vast experience in driving innovation in large-scale complex projects, designing global strategy and business development in emerging markets. He's a true thought leader, continually developing his understanding on how emerging trends are shaping businesses, operations, and successfully manages directs diverse teams in complex environments to close deals and accelerate growth. The part that got me in everything is to close deals.
Thank you very much. And that's the most important part.
That's the most important part, because I feel like a lot of people think it's not productive, and this is why we don't go into farming. But first, let's just talk about agriculture in the first place. Why agriculture for you, and how it has been over the years?
Well, thank you so much, Martha. I think most people realize that we're cognizant of the fact of where Nigeria is. Nigeria has probably been battling with a three-headed monster over the last 5 years, which is unemployment, inflation, and exchange rate volatility.
All right.
And to be honest with you, when any country faces that kind of challenge, you have to go back to your bread and butter, the things that are innate, that are ubiquitous or common to the people. And for Nigeria, it's people and its agricultural resources. For me, I've always looked at the Nigerian economic space, and we've probably been in a downward decline in terms of our agricultural productivity for quite a while. And for me, it's like, look, I'm a young Nigerian. There's a lot of these spaces are being closed up to young Nigerian, and we had to find a place where the older generation or the elder generation had started to remove themselves from, and where the opportunity now starts to lie. And that's why necessarily I looked into the agricultural sector and I said, look, this is the value chain I wish to unlock first, and then from there we move on to other value chains.
Or the value chains. Anyways, that's a very smart thought. Where these areas. Now let's talk about dairy farming. It's not something that is very common, and not many people are aware of it. When I was speaking to my colleague just before the interview today, and I was saying, this is an area that is quite untapped. Not many people think about it. When you say farming, a lot of people will say, okay, poultry farming, fish farming, crop farming, and all of that. But dairy farming, what is it?
So, dairy farming, like you said, is not necessarily known to Nigerians. It's probably the most complex part of agriculture.
All right.
And the part of agriculture that, if you're able to unlock, probably in large part unlocks every other type of agro commodity. I would, some people call me the professor, because I kind of have a way of vast knowledge and find a way of breaking it down. But I will just give you a big context before I come down to the dairy farming, since we're in we're on a program of agripreneurs. Right. So, all of us went to school and they taught us that the two different types of cropping is food crops and cash crops.
Yes.
But that is a pre-1960 thought process.
Okay.
In the globalized world that has started, you actually have 5 categorizations.
Okay.
You have,
okay.
right? You have fruits and vegetables.
All right.
That doesn't need any explanation, right? You have fish and eggs.
Okay.
Then you have meat, and then you have milk.
All types of farming.
All types. So
Okay.
when you think of these categorizations, each of these categorizations has what you need to do to unlock it.
All right.
It's not the same thing across all value chains. And when you say fish, milk, and eggs, most people don't realize that the most perishable product on this entire value chain is milk.
Okay.
When we're being told, the propaganda a decade ago was tomato. Or
Okay.
Nigeria,
Perishable.
yes, perishable. Nigeria produces the most tomatoes, and we import tomato paste.
Okay.
But really and truly, the most perishable product is milk. Milk being that once you milk a cow,
Yeah.
you only have about 2 hours to cool it to 4 degrees.
Okay.
If not, it starts to go bad. It starts to have that milk rancid smell for
Yes,
milk,
yeah.
and that goes about it. Now, for you to cool milk to 4 degrees, well, you then need to realize that you need power.
Okay.
We already know what the Nigerian power sector has been doing
System is.
over 1960.
Mm.
So over the decades, because of lack of power and the infrastructure for cooling that milk,
Yeah.
Nigerians have never participated in milk. Just never. So you find out in these local farmers now started keeping their cattle
Okay.
for meat and as a store of value. What I tell a lot of people here is that only in Nigeria do you see we have cattle rearers. Every other part of the world, you're either in the dairy industry or you're in the beef industry.
Okay.
Nigerians, we have cattle rearers. So people just keep cattle, and I don't blame them. It became an evolution. So what we decided to do in Sebore is, look, I tell a lot of people that I'm not necessarily a farmer. I don't know the rudimentaries of farming.
Okay.
But my background is in economics and finance, and I did a master's in public policy and law.
All right.
And what I then did is I look at the agricultural space, and I see that it can unlock a lot of value for young Nigerians,
Okay.
people that we consider in the bottom part of the value chain.
Yeah.
And what we decided to do is, how do we look at it within my company, Sebore Farms? How do we look at this asset base that Nigerians already have, which is cattle, and how do you unlock value for them? What we decided to do in our own farm is that we invested in renewable energy. In 2022, we
Okay.
commissioned the largest fresh dairy processing plant in Nigeria.
Okay.
It has the capacity of processing about 150,000 liters of milk every 8 hours. It's fully powered
Every 8 hours.
every 8 hours. It's fully powered by renewable energy, so solar and batteries. So I
Okay.
don't depend on NEPA
Anymore.
or GEN or anything like that. The factory is fully powered by renewable energy, and because of that, it's probably one of the most unique factories in the whole of Africa.
Okay.
For you to have a dairy plant, and you have to have that because of the perishability of milk I mentioned.
Yeah.
Right now, once we did that, we identified. So the Adamawa State has about 2.1 million cows. So everybody has cows. But then they
Oh.
also the Northeast is the poorest part of the country. But the whole Northeast has about 10.2 million cows. It tells you that lighting
Some.
one part, which is milk, and but if you go to Ogun State, you see cocoa, you see cassava. You go to South, you see palm. You go to Kwara, you see soy. Like every part of Nigeria has an agro commodity that the people are already doing, but we're unable to unlock the value within that space. And for us, what we did in Sebore is we are looking at this value chain and saying, how do we then unlock it for our farmers? Because everybody has a cow, and if you have a cow, you have the ability to give milk. And we have taken the responsibility of taking that milk and converting their wealth into riches.
All right. So I did come across a video somewhere on the internet space, which I did talk to you about, where you were talking about how a Nigerian cow produces less than what other parts of the world will say, like 1 liter. You were conversing from at least 1 liter every cow, right? And we have millions of cows in Nigeria. Now, what do you think is responsible for that? Because you have talked about the knowledge gap, because a lot of people are not aware of what they can do. We seek activism to let people know what they can do in these sectors. What do you think can be done as well?
So to be very honest with you, I think our cows are not are probably the least productive cows in the world.
Okay.
Nigerian cows give between half a liter and 1 liter of milk per day. Just to give you context, Kenya is currently doing 18 liters. Egypt is doing 25.
Okay.
I went to France in Normandy. They are doing 40 liters.
Okay.
Turkey is doing 30.
Okay.
The US, which has the highest, is doing about 60 liters per cow per day.
Okay.
But let me give you, since we're talking to agripreneurs, let me give you a context of how much money that difference is.
Okay.
If you have 5 cows or 10 cows giving you 5 liters of milk a day, you're earning 180K
every day. Oh, per month.
Per month.
Okay.
And in our program, we pay every Friday, every week. So these people are earning 50K. We know the minimum wage that the country has been trying to adjust is 30,000 naira a month. And you have a farmer with 10 cows. And like I told you, somebody has 1,500 cows.
Somewhere.
Most people that you see, even when you just do a random sampling on the road, when you're passing, you don't see nothing less than 50 cows.
Yeah.
So it tells you that Nigerians have forgotten what wealth looks like.
Very terrible state to be in.
Yes. When people look at you and you're rich but you feel you're poor, that's one of the reasons why the Western world keeps saying that Nigeria is a sleeping giant. Because we have everything.
It takes.
It's already on our land, is in our people, we're enterprising, but we just don't see it. Every time I have a foreigner come to our farm, he said all he sees is money on the floor, but nobody's picking it up.
Wow.
These are very telling statements that made me decide that, look, rather than wait for government to come and move into this, we just needed to go in as private sector and start to do the work on ground to build up our youth, build up the perception. But just to answer your question directly, Nigerian cows are least productive because they've never done milk. They have never been in milk. And for you to be in milk, what you need is, like I said, you need energy, collection infrastructure, so that when you milk it, you don't waste it, right? Additionally, you have to feed these cows. And if you're feeding these cows, they don't move. They are not meant to move because they're going to be expending energy that should have been used for milk. They're going to be using it moving around. So, but the reason our farmers move around is because nobody has created the infrastructure for them to give the milk and not move. They're moving because of livelihood. They're moving because they're looking for feed and looking for water. In our program in Adamawa State, in every community that we go to, we build a solar power borehole. Again, solar, so that they don't have any energy.
Clean energy.
We're in the clean energy space. We create the boreholes for them, and we give them feed and keep them in one place, and have them have collection infrastructure. Now, what we've realized over the last 2 years is that every community we've done this, they now have a circumference radius that they rotate around. They don't migrate anymore. Because they know if they migrate, they don't have access to the collection center anymore that will collect their milk. So we are taking a market
I think that's where the difference.
Just pay them to milk the cows. You see, I'll tell you, over the years, I know Nigeria wanted to be a capitalist nation. And I'll go into a bit of history so that people will understand. Nigeria wanted to be a capitalist nation. And a capitalist nation says, the individuals own the asset. But prior to 1960, we were being organized by our traditional institutions, and once they produce, the British offtook. So we never got into the possibility of not selling our product to the British. After independence, when the British withdrew, nobody took up that space of organizing our people to produce in a massive scale. So this is the reason why you're hearing that, there were milk programs in the 60s. They are no longer there because nobody took up that space. We still have an export-driven mindset, but the honest truth is, with the size of Nigeria, geographical size, the population of Nigeria, the amount of young people in Nigeria, and the amount of produce that can be produced in this country, I kid you not, I think once we have a leader that understands what it is, I don't see Nigeria faulting in being in a situation within the next 24 months. You actually have to understand what wealth looks like and how you convert wealth into riches. And the moment you understand that, I think the sky is the future for Nigeria.
All right, guys. It's looking like maybe after this entire segment, I will just follow Aminu to his farm, and I'll just become a farmer. So if you guys don't hear from me anymore, I'm farming. I'm busy farming because what a lot of people, have the potential for wealth, like you said, and we just let it go because we don't have the required knowledge. We just work with what has already been recycled to us. We don't try to seek more knowledge. And yes, people, this is Agropreneur. We're talking agriculture here. And if you're just joining us on the show, I have been hanging out with Aminu Nyako, and he is the managing director of Sebore International Farms Limited. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
Well, let's go on a very, very short break. When we get back, we'll keep up this conversation. Please don't go anywhere.
Nigeria is a country blessed with fertile ground, with our fields spread across the horizon. Are you ready to sow the seeds of success in agriculture? Introducing Agropreneur, your partner in pioneering accurate information on agricultural practices in Nigeria and beyond. Leading the way, innovating agriculture every single day. From the fields of Nigeria to the world's grand stage, we are planting the future, turning a new page. Join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. to learn more about agriculture and the fertility of the African soil. Agropreneur, growing a bright future for agriculture.
Please listen to these announcements. Are you looking for how to get good health, or have you been struggling with an ailment? Then search no further. Call the number 080-6844-5192 or 091-5299-1837. Ginseng More brings you Save a Life campaign, where your health questions might be answered. Health issues of any kind. Please call the number for more details, 080-6894-5192 or 091-5299-1837. Thank you.
All right, people, as we're still in Agropreneur, the second segment of the Midday Extra show, with 34 minutes into the hour of 11. And I hope you've been learning, because that's the most important thing. And your eyes are being opened to possibilities. That's why I played you One Step at a Time by Jordan Sparks. Take it one step at a time, digest it. I'm also, don't worry, we're together. I'm thinking about how to, transit into this sector now, because there's money there. But the thing is, we crowd ourselves in just one place, and we don't open our eyes and our minds to the possibility. The dairy product, completely untapped area. We were just talking about crops, cash crops, people doing subsistence farming. We were still talking about that. Meanwhile, there's like a gold mine in the agricultural sector that has still been untapped. Thanks to Aminu Nyako, we wouldn't have known this today. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Much.
And right, let's talk about the acceptability by the Nigerian government, because, like I said,
now I'll give you an example, or just an idea of the size of people that can be affected within the dairy sector.
Right.
You have the local farmer,
okay,
that doesn't have anything but cows.
Okay.
He's in the value chain. We pay through mobile wallets, so telecommunications are in there.
Yeah.
Banking infrastructure are in there. People that provide feed for our cattle, that's grass, concentrate, and silage, are also in there. We have extension agents that go and teach people how to cater to the cattle. You have veterinary care that go in there. Then you have the processing factory that have technicians, lab technicians, food specialists, nutrition specialists. You have mango, 3 years, cashew, 3 years, palm, 8 years. I don't think Nigerian youth have that time in terms of, we don't have that patience right now to be able to wait for those kinds of things. And the volatility of not having irrigation and rain patterns and only farming in the rainy season. So you only earn money for 4 months and you try and coast that money for the whole 1 year. Dairy is where you earn every single day. And in Sebore Farms in Adamawa State, we pay you weekly, which is not done in any other part of the world. We pay you weekly so that you're not in any kind, so that Nigerian youth understand that dairy farming, agriculture, dairy farming, and other types of agriculture is the key to unlocking the future of the young Nigerians. And I hope every time I come to this kind of programs, I give my own quota back to tell people, look, there's possibility in creating wealth, and I think we need to take it seriously.
All right, so with the enthusiasm on his face, you guys bet that it is for real. Now, I think we'll open up the phone lines like ASAP so that we can get your thoughts on this, and you, peradventure, have questions that you'd love to ask. 09073530044. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Marta.
Hi, Salasi. How are you doing today?
Good morning to our guest.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning to you.
In fact, I so much love this person. Please come again to enlighten Nigeria, most especially about this farming.
Okay.
You know, you made mention of Mambila. Sir, I have been to Mambila. I think I spent about 2 weeks in Mambila. Their weather and everything there, and their cows, if you see their cattle, it's like there are some ranches in Mambila. Remember the mountain, how we climb benefit of it. If you can be able to do that, I'm telling you, it will get many youth out of job. Just imagine how much they are collecting and their money being paid in 2 weeks. In fact, I'm impressed. Mata, invite this man to come again. Thank you.
Salasi, thank you very much.
Mr. Salasi, just to give you a bit of context, we currently already collect milk from the Mambila Plateau. We're in Gembu, Nguroje, Mesamari. All of these places have Admirala collection centers, and we're collecting milk from...
Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome and thanks for joining us. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Eddie calling from Apo.
All right, good to have you. Talk to me.
Yes, I did not start from the beginning, but with the little down listening. Wow. And I feel we really need to invite this guy again.
Yeah.
Mata.
Sasi, we exchange we exchange jobs. Okay. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you guys so much. You guys don't love me that much. He just came. I mean. Anyways, let's hear you guys on 09073530044 or 09087 we've been having all morning on 09097054450. I'm expecting Temple to call because he's literally very much interested in agriculture. So every single time we have this program in the week, he calls and he gives us his 2 cents. So it would be nice to have him come up here and tell us what he thinks about dairy farming. Now, you have told us what your contribution is, what you earn. You have not told us your net worth, Sha. You told us Aisha's net worth.
Be able to succeed. And from there, we start. And we started, the first liter of milk we collected was in October 15, 2020, 45 liters.
Okay.
As at yesterday, we had 12,300 liters of milk on a daily basis. And we're looking to push that number to about 25,000 liters by Q2 next year. Bauchi State in Yobe, they are telling us they want to relocate to Adamawa to participate. Okay. When you're hearing this kind of things, it tells you that Nigerians are not lazy. They are looking for direction, or knowledge on how to actually earn a decent living, an honest living. You know, every time, because we've traveled abroad and we lived abroad, I in no way, shape or form look down on what Nigeria is. Ebore farms in Mabalwa grows, everybody around us grows. All communities in our local government in Tongo, Gembu, Ganima, Balwa, I can mention all of them, Hong Song, Mubi, Gombi. Every dairy farmer in those communities currently gives us milk. And because their livelihood is tied to the success of the farm, we've had awards from security agencies saying that this our program has single-handedly reduced the incidence of banditry and kidnapping by 90%. Okay. What you need to understand here is, look, Nigerians are not inherently criminal or disposed to criminality. Okay. If you have 100% criminality, know that at least 70% of it is condition.
Yeah.
20% of it, of the government, it's too high. A lot of these criminalities that we see, it is condition. Okay. And the moment you're able to break condition with opportunity, incidents of criminality disappears.
All right, let's take more. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Mata.
Hi, Blessing. How are you doing today?
Oh, well done, work. Your good job.
Thank
We
you.
give you mark. Excellent.
Give me
I
Mark.
greet our guests.
Blessing.
We are talking about criminality, right?
Yes. No, Blessing. No, we're not talking about criminality. We're talking about agriculture. We're talking about agriculture.
Okay, agriculture is fine. We know what agriculture do for us.
Okay.
It's how we do for village. Now, the people where they handle our agriculture is DJ now do better tea. Make sure they put their effort. Make sure food is there for their table. Look at what is happening now. I measure comment for this radio today. People than where to farm. Okay, let me just leave my husband to go and find what you go eat. They killed the man yesterday for farm for Benue State. Abuja, please,
Listen,
we are begging. We are begging.
That's
We are
okay.
begging.
That's okay.
God
Thank
bless
you so
Bye-bye.
much. Thank you so much for that contribution there. And it still goes down on the